The moon was full and shining bright, and there I was in the heat of the night. I found this place I'd like to go, even though it's far from home. It all made sense as I watched the crowd, the things I heard. This place was wild. The lights were low, people everywhere, sounds of love screaming through the air. It was there I fell in love. It was there I found my passion flowing, and far from my mind was the world I left behind. I used to think how it would be to find someone who needed me, and it was there my dream came true, 'cause it was there that I met you. So many days had come and gone, I almost thought I'd write a song, and then I found this crazy place where I met you to end the race. It was there I fell in love. It was there I found my passion flowing, and far from my mind was the world I left behind. Whoa, whoa, yeah.
Hello and welcome back to Memories of a Musician. I'm your host, Vito DeSalva. Once again this evening, we have a great program for you, and a friend that I've known for years and years. Actually, I'm going to say when I was a senior at Duquesne University School of Music, I think Andy Yalch was a freshman at that time. So we're just a few years apart. And we've had very similar careers in that Andy is an educator and he's also a performer. He's played with a lot of different bands and a lot of different groups, where I had my own group and I was pretty confined to the musicians that were in my group. But other than that, we've had very kind of similar careers, and Andy's going to share his journey with you when he comes on the program. But before he does, I would like to actually, one of the things I'd like to mention too is that Andy is a wonderful composer, and he's written a lot of music for solo piano. And so you're gonna hear a couple things on the program of his, and I'm gonna play a little montage with one of his songs, and you'll see the title when it comes up, and then you'll get to see some of the groups and various artists that he's worked with over the years. So let me play this for you first. go. Andy's Waltz for Debbie. Beautiful song. I'd like to read now a little bit of the background here before I bring Andy onto the program. Andy Yalch is a pianist, composer, conductor, and arranger. He is also a piano tuner and technician and has had 40 plus years as a professional performer. He received his master's in music composition at Duquesne University in 1985 and his a Bachelor of Science degree in music education in 1976. He was also recommended by Jack Purcell to Ralph DiStefano, the band leader at the Holiday House. That was a former supper club in Pittsburgh in the Monroeville area, who brought in name acts weekly. Andy's first gig there was leading the trio that played between the shows. When Randy Purcell, who was a world-class trombonist, came home from touring with Maynard Ferguson's band, he became the new director. Soon after that, he started playing all of Randy's gigs and started playing the shows for the acts. He would also conduct the shows for acts with no conductors. Andy worked about 8 years there until 1982, when the Holiday House closed and became a shopping plaza. Andy was a music specialist for the Wilkinsburg School District for 30 years. He also traveled and taught for Carnegie Mellon Music Project under the direction of Dr. Natalie Ozeas for 10 years. Mr. Yalch was also music director for the Trinity Jazz Orchestra, pianist for the Trinity Music Group, all ensembles, pianist for the Riverview Jazz Ensemble, Pittsburgh Doo-Wop Big Band, and all other small groups, and pianist for the Pittsburgh Big Band Legends. As jazz director of arts in Pittsburgh groups, Mr. Yalch took gifted young adults and professionals through Europe and the Bahamas, playing concerts focusing on the rich musical heritage of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The group performed for the Prime Minister of the Bahamas and gave a concert at the American Embassy in Rome. Andy Yalch has been a member of the Pittsburgh Musicians Union since 1972. He has been vice president of the union for 20 years and has had the privilege of interacting with all levels of the music industry and has performed with some of the best musicians in the world. Andy was also the staff pianist at the Pittsburgh Ballet Theater School. Mr. Yalch also originated the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra Education Committee for School Concerts for both public and private districts. He wrote the curriculum and lesson plans for the school concerts, wherein many symphony musicians would go to schools and work directly with students. Andy continues to perform with several bands, including the Pittsburgh Doo-Wop Big Band, the Riverview Jazz Ensemble, the Pittsburgh Big Band All-Stars, the Jazz Express, Johnny Van Band, the Tom Evans Band, Lou Lucarelli Quintet, Roger Barber Band, and accompanies various singers throughout the tri-state area. Andy has been tuning pianos since 1973, when he worked for the Wurlitzer Company. Pianos would arrive in the store so out of tune that they were impossible to sell. As Andy says, I learned by necessity. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring Andy onto the program for you. Here he is right here. There he is. How you doing, Andy?
Pretty good, Vito. How about you?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
It's fun connecting with you again. It's been a few years.
It's been a number of years, yeah. They go by too fast. That's all I can say.
Isn't that the truth, huh?
I said my granddaughter just graduated from high school and finished her first year of college, so it's a long time.
Wow. That's amazing. My first grandchildren, they're twins, are just finishing their seniors in high school, and they're just going to start college in the fall. So
there you go.
You know, it's and then I have another grandchild that's 6 months old. You know,
That's beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty.
I had twins too. I have twin boys in between my my first, and then I had twins in the middle. Then I had a girl.
Oh, did you?
We had a girl, yes. So my twins are 40. Oh, and I don't even want to say. I don't know. My oldest is 47, so that's all I can say.
That's it. Well, we're about the same. My son's
Yeah.
48, and my daughter's 46. Both of them had twins. But my wife is a twin, and
wow.
her grandmother was a twin. So that kind of like every other generation, we've had twins in the family. So
We couldn't figure out where ours came from, but I found out through researching it that 3 generations ago on my father's side, there were 2 sets of twins that didn't live.
Oh.
Because I had this a long time ago, because they couldn't, no incubator, nothing. But they said it, if you have identical twins, which my boys are, it's Paul and Matthew, they have to be on the father's side. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but it's wild.
Yeah,
Having twins is wild.
That was the case with my wife. She's an identical twin, and it was her father's mother that was a twin. So you're right; it came from the father's side, So, Andy, beautiful song. I really enjoy that. Andy's Waltz for Debbie. Of course, there's that famous Waltz for Debbie by Bill Evans. When I first saw that, I thought, wait, what did Andy do? It's totally different.
That was written for my wife a long time ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. And when did you, I like to ask, so the audience really to start the journey of where you started in music, what your first instrument was, and what was your inspiration to start a musical instrument? How did you get started? Talk to us about that.
Well, I was about 7 years old. I can remember back pretty far in my young age. And I remember begging my parents to take accordion lessons, because to me, the accordion, there wasn't a band around that did not have an accordion in it. And I fell in love with the accordion, man. We watched Lawrence Welk, man. As soon as I saw, was it Myron? What was his name? Myron Floyd? No, the accordion player on Lawrence Welk.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I would watch that, and I was amazed. And my father happened to work with his best friend down at Jones and Laughlin Steel, and my father's best friend's son was a really excellent accordion player. He had his own band and was all over it. His name was Bob Bodnar, Bodnar. And so I was just turned 8, and my father started taking me over to, every Saturday morning, we would go to Brentwood where they lived, and I would get my accordion lessons, which supposedly were supposed to be a half hour long, but we end up there for long times, At that time, you soaked up everything like a sponge. So it didn't take long. So I took lessons until he had to go into the Army. I was 8 at the time. He was 18. I guess he got drafted. And then you reminded me of the other guy we both took accordion lessons off of, in, what was it, Johnny George's? Is that what it was?
Johnny George's in the
in Oakland. Yeah, you took accordion lessons there
on Atwood Street. Yeah,
I said it. I told you my aunt lived on Atwood Street,
yeah.
so far. But I was only like 11 or something like that, and that's when I played my first show, which was solo accordion with a women's club doing a World War I show.
Wow.
It had songs in it like Smile and Katie. It's a Long Way to Tipperary.
Yeah.
The long old songs. And at that time, I was able to memorize things like crazy. So it didn't, so I still remember those darn songs from there, but then it went from there. So then I went to after I left Johnny George's, I went to, Mario DiNardo. You remember Mario DiNardo? Sure. He was my accordion teacher too, again, and he had a television show at the time he played on with his trio, and the trio consisted of accordion, bass, and guitar, and they were really good. Mario was a fabulous player.
Sure.
So then again, Saturday mornings, I'd hop on the bus. I lived in Greenfield, and he lived in Upper Homewood on Deary Street. And I didn't have to bring an accordion, of course. You know, he had accordions. And I would go over there for lessons, and his wife, Beth, would feed me, pour me glasses of wine. I was like 13 or 12 or I don't know. So we'd eat, drink wine all day and play. And then he had a Hammond B3 in the living room with a Leslie. Okay, and that's where I got hooked on organ, because he was trying to learn to play himself, you know, with the accordion players. They have a natural left hand to be able to split between their hands and bass lines and things like that. Playing the pedals is a different system. So he was trying to get onto that. So I'd spend a long time just messing around with the B3. So that's how I got started.
Nice. You know, I have a picture I want to show. This is your high school graduation picture. There you go. I remember the sideburns.
The long sideburns, man.
Yeah, I used to have them too.
Yeah, everybody had them, man.
Yeah, I guess so. The sluggers, they called them. Huh?
Yeah.
That's a good picture, Andy.
Yeah,
And then
what the hell happened to me? Look at me now.
Well, hey, it's the nature of things that change, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How about this picture here?
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. That was my first year of college or last year of high school. I played in a rock band called Harbor.
Okay.
And that was the look then. I think I was playing a Farfisa organ on the bottom.
Okay.
And then a digital piano, which was just I don't know what brand it was, sitting on top of the other keyboard there.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool picture. And then I have this one too. I just wanted to put up the show. This is when was this?
That's I'd say about 18 years ago or something like that, 17. It's we did a educational video with Jeff Coffin, who is a fine sax player. He plays with Bella Fleck and what is Dave Mitchell band, or I forget the name. But we did a recording there. You can actually see the recording online.
Oh, okay.
That's the whole seminar, and we played. But in the pictures, Alan Muckle and Vince Gorman, who's a great bass player, and who else who played? That was it, and myself and Jeff.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
After that concert, he took us because he was playing with Bella Fleck that night. So we went out to the theater, and we interacted with that band, and then we went out socially after that too a couple times. So it was great.
I didn't know. So you actually did a recording with Jeff? And,
yes. Jeff and
I wish I'd have known that, because I would have got a track from that. You know, I didn't know.
I think I sent it to you, but whether you got it or not, I tried to.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Pittsburgh doo-wop big band.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now doo-wop in Pittsburgh is a pretty, common name because of the doo-wop shows that they had on QED and all that. So I guess that's where it's derived from.
Well, it actually rises directly from that, because the guy that directs this band is the guy that directed the first series, who wrote all the arrangements for this first series of the WQED doo-wop series. Rick Mansfield, yeah. So I've been with them for over 10 years now or something like that. It's
okay.
Time flies again.
This is a picture of the doo-wop band in a theater or in a hall somewhere. Huh?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. And then I have this one here is also the doo-wop big band, but this looks like you're under a tent somewhere, huh?
Yeah, we were playing a summer festival somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's pretty interesting.
I do remember that day because it was so darn hot, and the fans didn't make the band. So. Ooh.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, at least it wasn't raining on you. That's a good thing.
Oh, that's for sure.
One of the things with those festivals outside we always had to deal with was weather. And even if we were covered, the band, if it's raining, the audience, I mean, you might have a few people there with an umbrella, but I mean, most of the audience is not there. There's no audience to speak of. And, it's always a disaster. It's just kind of like an outdoor wedding. When it's a beautiful day, there's nothing more perfect than a garden wedding. But if it's a lousy day, and I've had some of those, boy, it's horrendous,
I remember I used to come and see you because my family would always go to Italian Day at Kennywood, and I'd bring my accordion along and would find, everybody in my family played something. So we found a corner, since I was the littlest kid, and we would go to Kennywood on Italian Day and we'd all sing and play. And I would come over to the theater because you'd be playing there with we three. Yeah. So I didn't get a chance because you'd have it jammed over there, especially when it was a nice day. There was no room to even move.
That's right. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. That goes back a few years, huh?
Yeah.
That was when the Italian Day at Kennywood Park was the biggest crowd of the year. That day they would generate the biggest crowd of the whole year. It was an amazing time, really. So let's talk about, you were in a group called the Jazz Express, together since 1973.
Mm-hmm.
And that's this group right here.
Well, really the one that's been together that long, I've known those guys since then, but the only one that we've been together actually was myself and the guitar player. His name is Al Lardo.
Okay.
And Al is a number of years older than me, but we met. I worked for Wurlitzer, and we rented the 9th floor of the Gimbel's building, department store, and he sold large appliances 2 floors down. So somehow the music, he'd hear the music from the 9th floor or whatever. And we just got to know each other almost immediately. And he lived very close to where I lived in Monroeville. And our kids ended up growing up together, same years and everything. So they went through high school and all that time. So, but we played tons of jobs after that. He had a gig playing steady at the Holiday House before I did, so doing that same trio gig that we talked about.
Uh-huh.
But it's just fun. We know a zillion tunes. You just sit down and play. That's all.
Yeah, right. Well, speaking, you mentioned the Holiday House, and speaking of that, I wanted you to tell me about that whole thing, because that was an era when supper clubs was where they had major acts, until they decided that the major acts wanted to go to these arenas where instead of having 1,000 people, they could have 13,000 people and make more money. I'm sure that's what it was behind it.
That's all it was, man. I remember I was playing a show for, what's the Italian comedian? Pasquale Caputo, Pat Cooper. I always play him because at that time, I weighed 125 pounds. I had an afro, and I was wearing high heels with bell bottoms. Okay. Yeah. And every time I played for him, he called me the Mexican piano player because he thought I looked like a Mexican. But I played. He would I would be crying at the end of every show, man, because I was just, and they were paying him. He says, "Look at this." He says, "They're paying me $10,000 a week to come here." Okay. He'd tell everybody. He says, "And there's people that won't work for that little." And I'm going like, and then the highest paid show we ever did out there was Lou Rawls' show. He got the highest pay of anybody. He got $26,000 a week, I think.
And what year would that have? Well, the close in 80s. We're talking like
74, 75, something like that.
That's a lot of money then.
Oh, yeah. But then you go 10 years down the line, and he wouldn't work for $26,000 an hour, on TV in an arena. I mean, it's crazy, crazy, crazy. Unbelievable. That's what drove it downhill. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's exactly right. I mean, like I said, that's the reason. And you figure in Pittsburgh, they had the Twin Coaches, the Holiday House, the Ankara, which was on 51.
Yeah. Right.
And they were all supper clubs where, they had these shows, and you go and have dinner and then watch a show. And then the band, the Haas band there would play dance music after the show for maybe an hour or so. It was normal, you know.
I have a menu downstairs from the Holiday House that circa sometime in the 70s, every year the Letterman would come in and do a gazillion shows.
Oh,
and, yeah, we'd do 2 shows. And then menu was like $14.95 for prime rib, okay. And that included the show and everything else that went along with it per person, you know. At that time, like, that was a lot of money, quote, but compared to nowadays, that's nothing. I mean,
I don't know if you know this, Andy, but I played piano for the Letterman for, maybe a year or so.
Did you? Yeah. I was on a gig. The guy from Charleroi did a long time with them, steady on drums. When they came into town, we did run-out concerts too. We went to hometown of
Tony Butala.
Yeah, we went out to did a concert out there, but we would do 2 a night, and it was like playing forever.
Yeah. Are you thinking of Jerry Leone, the drummer, Jerry Leone?
Jerry Leone, yeah.
So sure. He's married to a very good friend of mine, and Jerry was the drummer when I was with the Letterman too. He was the drummer there, and so I knew Jerry quite well. Yeah,
he's a great guy.
Oh yeah.
So just tell him I said hi.
I will.
Okay.
So let me show this picture here. And this is from the Holiday House, the group, the quartet.
Yeah, we were played. Actually, these are the guys that played with us there a lot. And that's Terry McGursky on the left-hand side there. He also plays now with the Pittsburgh Doo-Wop Big Band and all this other stuff with us.
Okay.
The guy sitting down at Terry McGursky, yeah. And then the guy in front with the sunglasses on is Gary Polifka. He was a drummer. He's also a Duquesne guy.
Okay.
And the guy with the white suit on is always the leader. So he's the leader and the singer. And his name was Lee Anthony, but his real name was Larry Maciosi. And who's on the other side there? I can't see it.
He was the leader. Lee Anthony. I've heard that. I mean,
yeah. So he got some. We did some church from Nashville for him, and he got a little recording contract out of that. So it was good. But he sang under the name of Lee Anthony, and that's a picture of me, of course, when I was 12.
Yeah. You are definitely young there. You know, a really close friend of mine who was really my first guest on the podcast, Ernie Pontier. When he saw that you were going to be on the show, he says, "Please tell Andy I said hello." He said, "I remember when I played in the trio with him at the Holiday House."
Yeah,
right.
He was the regular guy. Yeah, after John Orsini did it first, then he did it.
Okay.
And then after he did it, Larry, who's standing there in a white suit, did it. Or quote Lee Anthony. But anyway, yes, I have my Ernie stories. But other than that,
what's your Ernie stories?
My favorite Ernie stories. Ernie had a great voice and he could sing, and he was a really good trombone player. Yeah. But he didn't know a lot of tunes.
Okay.
We would always play Misty, and he was reading them all the time, you know. So I'm playing, and every time we would get to the bridge of Misty, you can say that, George, you know, right there, he'd stop playing because he didn't have the second page of it. It cracked me up every time I take it here, you know. It's like,
that's funny.
That's the truth. Ernie also got me involved in the West Hills band, that big band out there, West Hills. Clemdera did that band for a long time.
Yeah, the West Hills Symphony Band.
Yeah, I played saxophone in that band. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's 50 years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When Clem was conducting, this is after Joe Peakey was done with it, huh?
I did it when Joe Peakey did it, but Clem was already writing arrangements for the big band. I stole one of his, or he did an arrangement of Kiss Today, Goodbye, What I Did for Love, and some other tune together. And it was really nice. I used that for a long time. And I used that with...
Clem, he just recently retired as the director of that group, and he turned the baton over to Tom Snyder.
Oh, I know Tom.
Yeah, it was the band director of West Hills. And anyhow, yeah, he's a great guy too. Clem was a guest on the show back in the spring, I think, sometime. Yeah, great guy, and he's had another musician with a great career. So the Holiday House, that was a really, it's interesting because I remember playing there with my group, We Three. They had banquet rooms there, and we would play some weddings there and different things. While, it had nothing to do with the show or the supper club part of the building. They just had banquet room, and we would go out there to play a wedding, and while all this other stuff's going on, it was pretty interesting. But yeah, that is a really that's a shame. I want to tell you one thing, Andy, because you probably are not aware of this, but I was on the road with the Sicilian tenors for about 7 years, and two of the guys originally from Detroit area, and one of the guys still lives in Detroit, Aaron Caruso. And we played a place there. It's called Andiamo's. And Andiamo's, they have a couple different restaurants, obviously Italian restaurants in the Detroit area. And then they have a supper club that would reminded you just of like the Holiday House.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it's still going today. And they have those long, narrow tables going like toward the stage, and people sit, have dinner, and then they watch the show. We do the show, it was great. I mean, it was just like a throwback for me, to see that.
It's a funny thing, man. It's like to get that close to the act. That thing was really, you're playing like right next to the people all the time. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, it was a really, really cool concert.
What's the name of the place again?
Andiamos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that still exists. It's in Detroit. And in fact, I think Aaron, he does some shows there himself as well. Besides, we did some shows there with the tenors, but he did some solo shows there as well. So it's going all the time as a supper club, type of thing. So it's wonderful. So I want to talk to you a little bit about, in your bio, I read, and I may have heard this in my life, but I completely had forgotten that you were also a piano tuner and technician. And
right. Thank God for that, by the way. That's the only thing that's kept up with inflation.
Well, certainly the gigs haven't, right?
Oh, 50, that's how you pay the band. Count the number and pay them $50. That's all.
You're still getting paid what you got paid in 1970.
I tell you, honest to God, I tell everybody, I said, they said we're making good money. No, you're not. He told me, I made this money 50 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
40 years ago. Come on.
Yeah. It's amazing.
That's when you actually could make at least a living being a musician only.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. So tell me, how did you get started being a piano tuner? Tell me that.
Well, once again, Wurlitzer rented that area, and we sold Wurlitzer organs and pianos, all sizes, and we had what else did we have? Oh, Mason and Hamlin, which is a fine piano. But we would, and that all these things would come in horribly out of tune. I mean, you play it, sit down, and you couldn't even stand to play a chord on it because it would be so bad. And then we only had a couple piano tuners, and they're always busy. So that come up, man, and you after you do about a year watching them, they're showing you what to do. You realize you just said, well, we'll do it ourselves, and that's what we did. We all started to learn how to fix them and tune them, and that was it.
That's not an
on the job because you have to. It's a necessity. You couldn't sell it sounding like that.
So then you started tuning pianos as a living, right?
Well, I started tuning as a sideline because I was still playing. I mean, and tuning. Yeah. So Wurlitzer, I only worked for Wurlitzer for 3 years till they pulled out of Pittsburgh. Then I went to Fulton Piano and Organ Company.
Okay.
And then we had stores, in the mall, in Monroeville Mall. So I used to leave my selling gig at Fulton, which was right at the door in the mall, and drive across the street and go to work again. So did that 7 nights a week.
Did you sell Baldwin pianos too at some point?
I tuned. My buddy had a Baldwin dealership, and I used to tune for them.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I tuned for them. I only sold used Baldwins. They were the only ones I sold. But I worked for the Steinway dealer through Fulton downtown. I tuned for them, and I had a key to the stores. I'd go in and start at one end of the store and just tune as much as you wanted to.
Oh, well.
That was pretty cool.
Eventually, that became a trombino.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it became trombino. That's right. Well, actually, Fulton was not trombino. Fulton was in competition with trombino. This is even after I left Fulton. Then years later, I went to trombino tuning for him. So because trombino had the Steinway dealership.
That's right. I just saw. I think it was on Facebook that Bob Trombino just turned 100 years old.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. God bless him. When I came back from Florida, from Miami, from my schooling down there, and I started up my band again, I needed a sound system, and my drummer, Kenny Del Vecchio, said, let's go down to Charleroi. This guy, Bob Trombino, sells his stuff out of his house. That's how he started. He sold equipment out of his basement of his house, and I bought a little PV system from him and the microphone and whatever, and then he became a pretty big dealership with the Steinway company.
Yep. So I always got along great with him. So he's such
a great guy.
If you see Kenny, tell him I said hi. But I told you I ran into him about 2 years ago. He was in the audience when we were playing downtown with Lou Lucarelli.
Oh, nice.
The club, yeah, he was there, man. So it's had been a long time since I saw him too, man.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen Kenny too. Well, I talked to him on the phone once in a while, but so another, I guess, important aspect of your life, is your involvement with the Federation of Musicians, Pittsburgh Federation of Musicians, the Musicians Union. You've been a member since 1972, but more importantly, you've been the vice president of the union for about 20 years, huh?
Yeah, it's all title, no glory job, but other than that, yes. Okay. The funny thing is that I'll remember. Here's a story too. I started my first year at Duquesne's. First year that John Wilson was the director. That came in to be director. So he had me in a class. I was in one of the bands. I was playing saxophone at the time because that's what I did. So I went over across the street to join because the union was right across the street from the school, on Forbes Avenue there, the Musicians Union. So I went across the same street, the same time he was going over because he was transferring from New York.
Okay.
Where, I forget, what was it, 802 in New York? I forget what
Yeah.
Is that. Anyway, we're over there. And I'm signing up to join. I didn't have to do an audition because then you had to audition to get into the union.
Oh.
Okay. But if you were a music major, they bypassed the audition.
Oh, nice.
So I walked in at the same time he was signing, and he looked at me and says, don't let anybody in this union, won't they? Because I didn't know him from squat.
Oh, boy.
I got to know him over the years, but he gave me my master's in jazz composition too. So,
Yeah. An interesting thing was the first musicians union that I joined was in Miami. I was a member of the Miami Federation because when I was younger and started playing in Pittsburgh, I wasn't a member of the union. But I went to Miami and I started playing with a guy down there, and he was a union musician. And he said the drummer was a union musician. He said, don't tell the drummer that you're not in the union because he'll walk right out. He said, if he finds out that you're not in the union. So I said, well, do you think I should join? He says, yeah, if you can. He says, I would join, So I joined the union in Miami. When I moved back to Pittsburgh, then I transferred back to the Pittsburgh local. and then I was a member for a lot of years until I moved permanently to Naples, and then I resigned because no sense to being a member of the Pittsburgh local one.
No,
Not even going to be there.
I can't. When I joined in '72, I think our membership was over 3,000 people.
Yeah, and what is it now?
About 700.
Wow,
including the symphony.
Including the symphony. That's the biggest part of it.
They're the ones that pay the bills.
Yeah, I bet. That's interesting. Yeah. No, and it was always that way. I know. Let's talk about, there was I have a picture, and it's a jazz concert with you and a good friend of mine, Justin Bendel, playing bass. Debbie Weibel, she's apparently a pretty popular drummer because she was in a couple groups with Clem Roland as well. I remember seeing her before.
Oh yes,
Justin was on the road with me when I was with one of my international artists, and he came and played bass for me for a good while. So anyhow, tell us about this picture.
Well, if I remember, we were doing a jazz concert somewhere, and I really honestly don't remember where it was, but
okay.
We were on the stage, and this was before we played, I guess. And Justin, he's a riot, man. That's all I can say. What a fabulous player. And Debbie, she's really a great drummer. She really is. She can read fly specs, man. So it's really something.
That's
and she played with Clem in the West Hill Symphony too.
Oh, did she? Okay.
Oh yeah, she played percussion. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Justin's going to be on the show, I think in early February. So
you have to remember to tell Justin, if you can ever remember, tell him Andy said it's going to be glorious. That's all you have to say.
You guys have all your jokes between you. And then I have this picture here. Let's see. It looks like you were doing a recording. You have a headset on, and
yeah. Well, the whole thing is that we were doing Lou Lucarelli's concert, and we tried to record it. And what we ended up doing, that's at George Farlow's house. George.
Okay, I remember George.
Yeah, so we were at his, and he was recording us there. But he has a studio downstairs, which we migrated to after that. Because, yes, but that's been about 6 years ago, something like that. Yeah.
So I saw this Lou Lucarelli. I saw it was on video that I had when I had Mike Schmacko on the program. He's a drummer.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah.
You were playing keyboard on one of the videos, and that was interesting because I never met Lou Lucarelli, but I knew his brother Jerry quite well.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Jerry was an accordion player, and he also studied with Johnny Georges.
Didn't we all? But
yeah, the Greek Johnny Georges was Greek.
I said it's the first time I ever saw a chord of Hawks, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So that was a really interesting time. And Jerry was probably 4 or 5 years older than me, maybe 4, 5, 6 years older than me. But we competed in those festivals together and things, for years. So I got to see him and know him, played in the accordion bands with him and things like that,
Well, when Jerry died, because we'd always have Jerry play, at our union functions, because then people would just sit in, he put the band together, and so when Jerry died, Lou asked me to do all the gigs, so I did the gigs from there on. There were a lot of gigs too. We played a lot of things, but that was my really getting tight with Lou time, because we had known each other before, and we were both teachers, but we could exchange stories like crazy. So, yeah.
Speaking of teachers, I want to talk to you a little bit about your years as a music educator. So tell me about that, because you got your Bachelor of Science degree in music education. So
Correct.
Besides all the playing that you did, and you did plenty of that, you were also a teacher. For how many years did you teach?
Well, I taught under contract 30 years. But see, I got out of Duquesne in 76.
Okay.
And I never planned on teaching ever. I mean, I got the degree. You got to get the degree to have something to fall back on. You're not going to play,
Fall back degree.
Well, they're right. But anyway, it started out just, I would go out and substitute teach. Even when I was playing at the holiday house, I would substitute teach in the morning, go to my afternoon gig selling, and go across the street and play. So that's when you had, and I student taught with Henry Di Pasquale at Alderdice. And I taught at your school with, what was his name? You reminded me the other day.
Henry Sokolowski.
Yeah, Henry Sokolowski. Yeah, I started there because the city schools were on strike.
Oh.
And so as soon as the strike was over, I went to Alderdice. But okay. I had known Henry forever because I was in the band for like 6 years.
Okay.
We used to go there. Alderdice was 7th grade to 12th grade then. Yeah. So
that's where you graduated high school?
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Then I went back 4 years later and did student teaching there. So it was wild.
So where did you end up teaching these 30 years?
Well, Wurlitzer School District. Yeah. I had lost the business fell apart selling keyboards and that. And basically the company I was working for went under. So I went and took a teaching job at St. Bede's in Point Breeze, okay, Catholic school. And my job there was to play the mass in the morning and teach school. Okay, so that's what I did. But then there was an opening came up that says the Wilkinsburg had been on strike, and I was starting there, and they said there's a music position open. There's 2 people tried it so far, but they quit. I said, well, I'll try. I went up, and guy that was a principal of the school, his name was Carmen Sarnicola. Okay, and he was the Goomba of everybody in the band that I knew from the holiday house. So he let me do anything I wanted to do. He hired me immediately, man. So I stayed, I traveled schools at the time, but I stayed there. He let me get my master's degree while I was there during when I should have been teaching. He'd get somebody to cover my classes so I could go down to Duquesne and take classes.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, he died way too young, man, way too young.
So you were at Wilkinsburg for 30 years?
29 and a half. I always say 30, whatever.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. That's interesting. And what levels did you teach there?
No, I taught my basic level is, your job as a teacher is to cover the teachers' preps when they have their time off too. So they schedule everything they can to dump on you, so they can cover their preps. But they have me teaching. They quote recertified me too, so I could teach preschool.
Oh, so, wow.
That was a great thing. I love the kids, but I basically taught most of the time was K through 6, but I would, be involved in everything that went on. We did PMEA there too at the high school, and it was great. I mean, it was bad times as far as riots and things like that, and people getting shot. And it was a rough district, but the people there are beautiful people, and I am so happy that I know all my friends that I worked with over all those years, man. Because you remember, you seeing hundreds of kids a week. So
yeah, that's for sure.
Well, I took that job. I mean, I avoided being a band director, high school band director, because I would miss too much work.
Yeah.
I mean, I never had to miss a gig when I did this. I'm done at 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm done, And
that was definitely a time-consuming job, being a band director.
Oh, that's if you're not dedicated to that 100%, the kids are missing out because you have to be there for them. That's it. Kids are missing out.
Yeah. I have a picture that I want to show you. Tell us about this.
We played a jazz concert down at Homewood Carnegie. The guy on the left's name is Elliot Radcliffe. He booked the job, and we just did a jazz concert, description and everything for the people in that area. That's all. And that's not too long ago, but 3 years ago, something like that.
Oh, okay.
I can't see the one. Let me see the rest of the picture. Yeah, the administrator that runs it is on the right hand side. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name, but that's Hal Weiss, trumpet. Hal's a great player too.
Debbie is the drummer again.
Debbie's and then Elliot.
That was the Pittsburgh Jazz Cats was the name of that group, huh?
Yes, that's what it was.
Okay.
No, it's the Steel City Jazz Cats. That's all.
Oh, Steel City Jazz Cats.
Whatever, yeah.
Okay, that's different.
So many bands. The soon comes up. So what's the name of the band? I don't know. Let me ask.
And tell us about Riverview Jazz Ensemble.
Well, if you know the Riverview Jazz Ensemble, basically is the same band as the Pittsburgh Doo-Wop Big Band, only the stands change and the music changes, and we put tuxedos on. Other than that, and we play different venues like that. So it's a fabulous band, great band, great players. There's like Ray DeFay was he was a director for all. He played with the band for a long time, and there's so many people. Gary Pica, Carl Priority's the lead guy, trumpet. Gene Law is trumpet, man. Skip McCullough. Skip and I went to school together. Denny Hand. So many great players. And of course, George Furlow's playing the lead alto. So, and Terry McGursky's playing second alto. And fabulous John Passon, of course. Yeah, he's playing lead tenor. He writes charts too, and his daughter is an opera star. She's our singer now. Her name is Danielle. And
I just had his nephew on last week. Dino.
He told me last night because I was just with him last night. We had a rehearsal for a show.
Yeah. Dino was on last week. That's his nephew.
Watched that whole thing. I only caught part of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Told me that you're going to have him on sometime later. So
I am. Yes.
To get his credentials together, you better put together 3 hours. That's all I can.
Okay. Let's look
I tune his piano too, man. I got a story about that.
Is that him playing flute right there next to Clem?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's John Paston on flute and Clem Rowland playing trombone.
Yeah.
Valve trombone. You're on keyboard on the left, and then you've got a drummer, and is that a guitar player or a bass player maybe?
That's
is that Bob Patterson?
That's Bob Patterson, yeah.
On bass.
And I think it was Jack Deaney was on drums. I'm trying to remember who was on drums. I couldn't even tell from the picture.
Okay.
But yeah, we were doing a thing that was a thing at Allegheny Country Club we were doing.
So was this like one of your groups or somebody else?
This was John's gigs.
Oh, okay.
John's gigs. Mm-hmm.
I see. So yeah, you've played with so many different. That's the one difference between your career and mine in this sense is that because I had my own band, we had the same musicians for pretty much through the whole thing, where you've played with so many different musicians and different ensembles, that's great. That's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know why they kept calling me, but they did. I don't understand.
Yeah. There's a good reason for that there.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you what Ray DeFay always says. Ray DeFay says, if you can't get the guy you really want to get, call me because I could probably do the job.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Yeah. So this is the Pittsburgh Jazz Legends Big Band, huh?
Uh-huh. Well, that formerly known as the Frank Podrosky Pittsburgh Big Band All Stars, or big, yeah, I think that's what it was. But
Okay.
I didn't get into the band until after Frank passed away. I played a couple things with him while Frank was still alive, but
Okay.
Frank and his wife Linda, it was a shame when he passed away, though. But
Yeah.
Larry Davis took the band over then.
Okay. Is that the guy standing in front?
Yes, that's Larry Davis.
Hands down. You're the standing in front with your hands crossed.
Yes, the shortest guy there. See, right there.
The shortest guy there. You had a story about that too with Skip McCall.
Oh yeah, Skip played in. I was playing with the Trinity Jazz Orchestra, and when Skip came out to join, I was finally not the shortest guy in the band. That was always the joke: stand up while I talk to you. I am standing.
I am standing. That's funny. Now I remember Skip from college. He was in the band with me too, and maybe even
he's still doing our doo-wop thing and all the other things. So
okay, that's great. So this band here is a lot of who were some of the musicians? I don't know who's the drummer. He's holding a snare drum out front there.
That's Bob Breen. Bob
Breen.
He played a lot of shows and everything around. He worked with the Marcells for a lot of years.
Okay.
His wife Roseanne used to sing with me, Randy Purcell, and whoever else. I did a lot of gigs with her. Her name is Roseanne.
Okay.
In his, we used to do. Well, anyway, else in the band. Let me see here.
The guitar player. Who's the guitar players next to the drummer?
Jack McLaughlin. Jack's a fine player.
Okay.
And the bass player is Tony Belisai.
Okay. You were in another picture with him.
He playing with everybody too. He's there. And sax section Carmen Patute is the lead alto player there. And there's Andrew Carnes in the back over there. He sings and plays sax. He has a great voice. He also sang for the Trinity Band.
Okay.
Rick Nolan's back there. He plays Barry in the band and he arranges too. AJ, straight down the middle. If you look past Larry's sets, that's AJ, and I can't even remember AJ's last name now. So okay. For years, he taught at Pitt. Teaches at Pitt still. He taught arranging down there too for a while, I think. Or still. Oh, Mike Bodner's back there, and he plays trumpet.
He was a student of mine, Mike Bodner.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jen in the front, she's a regular member. She teaches school too. I forget what district she's in. But anyway, right now playing that trumpet lead is Jeff Kunkel, who's also a fine musician.
Okay.
He was the dean of music schools and all that. He's playing trumpet there, man, but he's a great pianist.
Oh.
But he's recorded, like, he has his doctorate emeritus. He was the dean of schools. You know, if you look him up, you can hear his stuff.
Andy, I have one last video I want to play. It's another one of your original songs. And it has a few more pictures and things, some of we have seen already, but I want to play that. Any other stories you'd like to share with us? We could do it either before or after the video. If you think of anything, we could talk about.
Little things like educational way, funniest things that happen when you're an educator. You know what kids will do. And my favorite education stories when I always did playground duty, because at that time it paid $16 an hour, so I could get $16 an hour for lunch. I could get 16 for doing breakfast duty if I wanted to, and if I worked a little after school, I could get, so I could buy a new Mercedes just with the check I would get in the middle of the month. See, that was separate, so I took advantage of that a lot.
That's good. I like it.
And we always got an hour for lunch, so it was no big deal. So The kids, one little kid, he was in preschool at the time. He was beating up the other little girls, on the playground, and they came up and Mr. Yalch, Dion, he's punching us and kicking us. I called him over. I said, Dion, come here. I said, what are you doing? And he put his hands up like this. I'm not going to say exactly what he said, but you'll be able to understand. He said, I didn't effing do it. It didn't say it like that. So I cracked. I couldn't help it, man. I just cracked up. I said, what did you just say? He said, I didn't do it. That's one of the best stories. That's a holiday house. It's hilarious. I remember Italian singer did the Frank Sinatra, Johnny Fontaine part in the Godfather movies.
Oh, Al Martino.
First thing he said to me when he went on, now I won't say exactly what he said, but you'll get the idea. He said, looked at me, he says, there's got to be a better effing way to make a living. And he went out there. I think he hated every minute of it.
That's crazy. I have
no matter what you do, you're going to get tired of it. I don't care what it is. Especially when you do the same songs and the same show.
Yeah.
Every single year, month, everything, you know.
I have a good Al Martino story. One year, you know, my group, we played the Italian festival at Station Square for many years.
Yeah.
And they would bring different acts in, name acts, not current name acts, but guys, you know. And Al Martino was one. And of course, I hired all the musicians for his band and things like that. So I'm standing backstage with Al. We're getting ready to go on, and there's a little kid walking up the aisle, and he has one of these. This is at night, and he has one of these like necklace around that lights up at night. You know,
yeah.
You know, and he says to me, "Hey Vito," he says, "You think you could get me one of those things?" I says, "Sure." I says, "You must have grandchildren," and just without a hesitation, he goes, and I told him, don't you call me grandpa. He says, I'm a singer. I have a reputation. You call me Al. That's what he said.
Wow.
And I'm like in shock because first of all, you know, I wasn't expecting that answer, you know.
Nope.
But anyhow, I got him a couple of those necklaces and he was happy as hell, you know. But yeah, Al Martino. Then the next day, I don't know if you know Gianni Russo. He was the guy that played Carlo in The Godfather. Remember, Sonny beat him up. He was married to Sonny's sister, right? Connie. And so Gianni Russo, besides being a big time actor, really, he was in I don't know how many damn films, but he was also a nightclub singer. And so he got hired to sing at the festival. And it was the first time he was in Pittsburgh. So I hired the musicians for him for the backup band that he had. And we had a rehearsal. It was on the Sunday. He was performing on Monday, I think, or maybe it was Sunday night. And we walked outside. We were like in a store that was closed in the Station Square. And we walked outside and you could see the city, the Golden Triangle. He said, boy, it's a beautiful city. I said, you've never been here? He says, no, I've never been here. It's really nice. He said, by the way, he said, how did El Martino do last night? I said, he actually did pretty well. I said, I was kind of surprised. I says, he put on a good show and he did fine, you know. He said, you know, he sang at my wedding. I said, really? He says, yeah, in The Godfather. That's what he said. So, but that was both guys, not one night after the other, you know.
I was a sad time with Al Martino too, because we were sitting in the dressing room, you know, and we're sitting watching, and somebody, he was a big star at the time. He was playing somewhere, and his conductor, the place burned down while they were playing, and the conductor went in to save the music and never came out.
Oh my goodness, you're kidding.
I can't remember his name, but the guys that were with Al Martino knew him, and they were like, you know, it was sad. It was very sad.
Yeah.
It was sad.
That's crazy for music. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Other funny, I was conducting a show for, who's the guy that did Oklahoma? The Star. Anyway, it was a show with stars of the silver screen. It had Forrest Tucker and a couple stars I didn't even know that they starred in these movies. And we were doing one part of his show, and for some reason the band we stopped for some reason, and he looked at me, and I was conducting the show, but he says at least it's not live TV.
That's funny.
Well, but I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Andy, let me show the audience this other video we have here before we
Go ahead.
chat. All right. Let's There you go. Another great tune there, Andy.
The funny thing, all these tunes have arrangements and everything to them. So that's just on piano. Now, we did them a number of different ways. But I'm so tied up. My hard drives are so messed up, man. I can't find half the stuff I have. It's I have shows I taped from. They taped in the at the Holiday House. The guy would tape the shows, and I have several cassettes of old shows, but I never converted them over to. I have the Temptations, man. I have like a whole bunch of different things, man. Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
We're all in that same boat, believe me. I before I left my studio up north, I should have converted a lot of things that I had on all kinds of different media and just made everything digital, and I didn't do it. And I every time I think about it, I want this, I want that, and I don't have access to it, right?
You can't hand anybody a cassette tape. They don't even know what the hell it is.
That's ancient, a cassette tape. In fact, CDs are pretty much ancient these days.
Yeah. It's all just numbers, digital.
That's it. Ones and zeros, right?
That's it, yeah.
Well, Andy, it's been great having you on the program. Good reconnecting with you again, too, because I haven't really had a conversation with you for a lot of years.
Long time, man. Yeah.
That's the one nice thing I like about doing this program is that, I get to see a lot of folks that I've known a long time and haven't seen you for a good while. So I really appreciate your time and appreciate you being on the program. And
thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I wish you all the best, and
you too,
happy
man.
holidays to you. A lot of holidays coming up here.
Sure.
You have a great time, and God bless you. Take care, man.
God bless you too, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. And there you have another episode of Memories of a Musician with Andy Yalch. Andy Yalch, great musician, piano player, composer, arranger, educator. He's been involved in the music industry in so many different ways over the years. Looking ahead to next Wednesday, November 26th, be sure to tune in to meet my special guest, Mary Farrow. Mary has served as a professional pianist in various capacities, including as an accompanist for high school musicals, a keyboardist in classic rock bands, and as a church musician. Ms. Farrow was also the musical director of the international performing folk group I Campagnoli. This troupe successfully performed extensively throughout the United States and Europe. Mary is also a former music educator from the Carleton School District and was employed as choral director and general music instructor. The podcast will be streamed live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Mary Farrow on Memories of a Musician at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, November 26th. Thank you and have a great evening.